We didn't cancel our dad.
He canceled us.
Hi, friends of the twins. Welcome back to our channel. Well, we hope that you all are having a beautiful Saturday.
It is absolutely gorgeous here in the Atlanta area. The sun is shining brightly and the temperature is very favorable.
Y'all, I told y'all the other day when we were decorating that it probably wasn't going to stay cold much longer here.
This is the hot Atlanta that we know. The temperature just goes up and down. Day by day, you never know what you're going to get.
And that's right. If you are new to our channel, we want to say welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you for choosing to be a friend of the twins.
Now, we are a decorating channel. Shonda and I love to piddle around and do things around the house. But we also like to share a lot of different lifestyle things.
Yes, we love dressing up in fashion.
Yeah, as women of a particular age.
A diva age.
We are both in our 50s.
Proudly, because if you are not getting older, you're already dead.
So we love to share home decorating. We love to share fashion and things that make us feel good and confident. We also like to share other lifestyle aspects, such as what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
In today's video, we are going to be talking about our relationship or lack of a relationship with our dad.
We acknowledge all of the comments in our previous video regarding the lack of preparation from a parent as they get older. And we do hear you when you ask, where was our dad? So we will be addressing that in today's video.
And when Shonda and I have conversations like this, we want to bring them to the channel. We feel like there are definitely things that need to be said and a conversation that needs to be had.
And we know by far we are not the only ones that are experiencing this.
This conversation is not one that is rooted in anger in any kind of way.
Not by far.
Your girls are doing just fine.
And have always been doing just fine.
Yeah, it is just really more for like clarification.
We might not have had a daddy, but we've always had a father. He sits up high and looks down low.
And he has taken fabulous care of your girls. So let's talk about how they met.
They are both the same age. There's only 3 to 4 months difference in their age. So
and she's actually older.
She's 3 or 4 months older than him. But they met young. My mom was in high school. And they married young. But it's so weird because there didn't seem to be any love or butterflies between them from the very beginning. She always told us that she married him only because there was another girl that was interested in him. And my mom wanted to show this other girl that she could get him.
My mom was going to show her, if I want him, you're totally out of the running.
And she was totally out of the running. But from the time they got together to the time that we came and so forth and so on, he has kept her running.
Yeah, it just from the things that she says, she never speaks about their union as if there was any love involved that got them to marriage.
They got together because she wanted to show another girl that she could have him if she wanted him. For some reason, they chose to get together and marry.
Mama was gonna show the girl.
But what do you think his reason for?
maybe he was more in love with mama than she was with him, and he wanted to get married, and she wasn't all that in it. It sounds like to me she definitely wasn't marrying for love. This is just from what
never
she
spoken
says.
about. I loved your dad, or he was my high school sweetheart, or anything like that.
Nothing affectionate at
all.
all.
So I'm not sure.
Even in recounting the story of how they ended up getting married, there was no love, no affection. She was just gonna show this other chick that I'm the main girl around here.
I won,
and if I want him, I can get him. I'll show you.
She won the prize, and what a prize it is.
I will say that over the years, now I can laugh about it. It was never a big issue. It didn't cause me any strife or anything. But now I can definitely laugh about the fact that the both of them are two of the same.
They're two of the same.
And I think that is just amazing.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, what are the odds of two people being the same that end up getting married?
And so tell them what the same is.
Y'all, the same is neither one of them wanted to work. Like,
because our dad didn't either. At 2 years old, they separated. And they've remained separated for well over 50 years because they never divorced.
I mean,
They're still married.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing to me.
But they separated when we were 2 years old. So Rhonda and I are 54 now. We're about to be 55 in March. So they've been separated.
And I must interject. I just want to tell the peoples why they are still married.
Just a slight recap.
Yeah, even though they have not been together in 52 years. Our mom says that they are still married to this day because she didn't want to pay for the divorce, and he wouldn't.
And he didn't either.
Yeah, neither would pay for the divorce. So they're still married.
He didn't want to work for a white man or a black man or any man. And that's fine if you want to be an entrepreneur and have your own business, and that's great. He did work for himself. He was a shade tree mechanic all of our lives that we know of. That's the only job I've ever known him to have, is working shade tree mechanic for himself. But
and it was not like an LLC or anything.
He didn't pay taxes. He didn't set up a retirement fund for himself or anything.
It wasn't structured as a business.
It was not structured as a business. It was all hand to cash, cash to hand type of transactions. So can you imagine, him and my mom are the same age. They are both 76 years old. And y'all, he don't have no retirement.
Some people ask and made reference, and we appreciate all of the dialogue concerning the video, the brutal reality of caring for an aging parent who is not prepared in any way for aging. There were some people that we kind of referenced him just a little bit in the fact that they were still and are still married to this day after 52 years. So some people, and we appreciate all of the trying to help us get things figured out and suggestions. Some of you commented that we should look into our mom getting his Social Security.
But y'all,
it's funny.
He ain't got none. He doesn't have a he doesn't have a penny to draw from. So they separated when we were 2, and from there we primarily lived with our mom. During the time that they separated, of course, I don't have memories back as far as 2 years old, but my grandmother, my mom's mom, was one who would share stories with us a lot, as well as my mom, of things that happened when we were smaller. She says that my mom used to take us to see him, and she, I guess, just got tired of it and said, I want you to stop
running those
children over there to see him.
Them. It would be them, because I say them because she was taking us to our paternal grandmother's house where he lived, or at least from our memories, that's where he was all the time.
I think he visited. I think he would come over maybe if he knew we were coming. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but we would always be taken over to his mom's house, and that's where he would be, and some of his other siblings, as well as our paternal grandmother. I do have a couple of memories of those times. I can remember being maybe 9 or 10 and going over there to visit. But what we don't have is a lot of memories of him actually coming to us. Do you?
No. From the time that they separated, when we were 2 years old, there was not financial support for us.
Nada.
There are 3 of us, 3 girls. No financial support.
Nada.
Nothing.
Zero. Zilch.
And I remember just a whole lot of broken promises.
They were sporadic because we didn't see him a whole lot.
We didn't see him much.
I mean, ever.
And my grandmother shared with us that she was kind of shocked, during the time that Ronna and I were born. Twins were not as prevalent as they are now. And
so it was a big deal when a set of twins, when we were born. Oh, my grandma paints the picture. She might be a little bit biased, but she painted the picture that it was just a big deal. Now remember, now y'all, this was 54 years ago.
Back then,
naturally,
my mom didn't know that she was having twins, and so it was
a big deal.
A big deal, at least as far as my grandmother was concerned. But she told me that she was shocked. Not only were we twins, but we were identical. And she was just shocked that my dad and his family just kind of, it just was what it was.
There was not a lot of effort put in
from his side of the family. Even if he didn't want to be
from him or his
involved,
side.
We had several aunts, other uncles.
He comes from a rather large family. I'm going to throw out a number. We don't know them very well. I just put it like that. So I believe that my dad has about what you say, maybe 6 siblings,
6 or 7 or so. I'm not sure.
His mom had about somewhere between 6 to 8 kids. They were a large family, but there was just, I tell you, I can distinctly remember being over at our paternal grandma's house, and like Shawnee said, our dad, we don't think he lived there. He would be there a lot of times, but he did have he had 2 younger siblings, or 3, that were actually living there. And one of them was a female. She would be our aunt. And like I said, I was about 9 or 10. I can distinctly remember her being ambivalent towards us. So if we were about 9 or 10, she was older. She was probably about, would you say, between 16
and 18, somewhere in there.
Yeah. She was too old to be treating little kids the way that she was. I mean, she was
it was very obvious to us at our young age that she didn't want us there.
And we've talked to our mom about it. Why? What could some little kids have done? I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. The ones that I have been around, like on that side of the family, they are a very peculiar bunch
of people.
We just put it like that. Even our dad has peculiar, funny ways. And they all, not all of them, but some of the others have those funny acting ways also.
You know, one of the memories that I remember being over at our paternal grandmother's house, we went for a visit. And when we got there, they were fighting. Physically fighting. So they were
We were how old then? Maybe about 10.
Yeah, young. We weren't.
Yeah, we the visits, like Shonda mentioned before, our grandma told our mom, stop running those kids over there. They're not all that vested in them. You stop running them over there. They should make some effort also.
In other words, she didn't want my mom to force a relationship from them to us, or even from us to them.
So those visits kind of stopped when we were about 10. So any memories that we have are really between probably the ages of 8 and 10, somewhere in there. But like she said, we got over there one day and they were fighting.
Just physically fighting. They used to fight each other. So growing up, I am, and now as a grown adult woman that has grandchildren, I am so grateful and thankful that there wasn't a forced relationship. And I'm grateful and thankful that they didn't reach out. You know, sometimes you have to be glad.
You have to be
of
grateful
things that pass you by.
Y'all hear what we said? Let me say it again for y'all. Sometimes, of y'all that are pushing and forcing and insisting,
please stop.
Please stop. Just pull back. Because you have to be grateful and glad sometimes for the things that pass you by. You do.
It is God's way of protecting you.
Yes.
Or keeping you from things that He won't have you go through.
Let me tell y'all how volatile it was.
We went for a visit, and apparently one of our aunts had gone out, stayed past curfew or what have you, maybe not come home.
How old was she?
She was a teenager. I'm not sure what exactly the situation was, but when we went through the front door, one of our uncles had her on the ground. He was punishing her for whatever she had done. And I'm looking around because our dad's dad was deceased. He actually died in a fire, a house fire. He was sitting in a chair, smoking a cigarette, fell asleep, and a fire started. And you know, y'all remember those, some people, older people, have those burglar bars on their windows. Well, that's a great way to feel safe in your home, but you have to remember, if nobody can get in, nobody can get out. And so he perished in that fire. There was no dad in the house, but our grandmother was there. And I'm looking for her to see if she is aware. Now, I'm doing this as a child. Did she know that he's punishing, hitting, holding this girl down? But she was sitting right there at the kitchen table just watching it all.
The most violent incident that I remember is we were there one day and we were actually just kind of running around playing because we were just little kids. Next thing we knew, an ambulance and all of the rescue, all this stuff. How many of y'all know that one of my dad's brothers did he shoot or
He
shot
and
killed his sister's husband
there that day while we were there. Apparently, maybe our aunt and her husband had some words amongst each other, or fussing or something. We don't know. We were outside. But whatever happened, the uncle, my dad's brother, heard it, didn't like it, got involved, and he shot and killed him that day.
There at the house while we were there. So how many of y'all know that rejection is sometimes God's protection?
Yes.
So we never really of course, we don't have any memories of ever living with him or them ever having been together. And we don't have many memories of him coming around at all.
He just wasn't involved. No matter what it was we were going through as children or adults or what have you, he was never around. There were plenty broken promises. So no Christmas gifts, no birthday gifts. I do remember him coming to our high school graduation. But how many parents or absentee parents will not be involved during the year, but will want to come to any kind of award ceremony for school or whatever? They want to sit on the front row.
Yeah, they want to be there for the shine, but they don't want to be there for the journey to help you get there.
He just never had. He was of the mindset, and I guess he still is, that the children should reach out to him. And
we have spoken with our mom. Some things she'll talk to us about. We've kind of asked her about that, and we asked her when we were younger, like, why does he not ever call us, or why does he not come around? She told us, we got this from our mom, and he didn't come around, so it must have been true. She's the one that told us that he feels like he is the daddy, he is the elder, and that we should make all of the effort. Mm-hmm. He should never call us. We should always be the one to call him because he is the daddy.
So y'all leave us a comment down in the comment section and let us know if you have a parent that's like this, or
is this an old school thing, or
that believes that they shouldn't reach out, but the children should always make the effort.
Well, now for me, y'all, that's good and fine if you have been a present parent. Mm-hmm. If you have put in the effort, if you have helped financially, if you have supported your child, you've been there for them while they were sick, maybe help with a little schoolwork every now and then, attend a sports activity or whatever. All of that is good and fine. But if you have been the kind of daddy that we had, one who, when we say we saw him sporadically, if I had to guess, just say in a year, in a 12-month period, we may have seen him once. Twice.
I would say
in
once.
A year. Mm-hmm. So I just don't feel that's an entitlement.
As children, you're not privy to all of grown folks' information. Mm-hmm. So a child is really not good for a parent to discuss grown folks' arguments with each other to children, because all they don't understand, for one. Mm-hmm. And then all they want is
their dad
or their mom.
Yeah.
So my mom never
talked bad.
She never talked bad about him or anything to us.
She didn't.
She just let us get old enough to see for ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so once we became of age and we could pick up the phone and call him ourselves and maybe ask for something, we began to get the true picture of what it really was. And I remember one of the first things we asked him for was to take us to the Michael Jackson concert.
Now, we were maybe about 12, and all of our cousins were going.
And back then,
and it wasn't
the tickets weren't expensive and stuff.
Yeah, because we remember this because it was, when you're young, all your cousins are going. It was Michael Jackson, but it was the Jackson 5. Mm-hmm. And they were going to be at the Omni in Atlanta. That was a long time ago.
How many of y'all remember the Omni in Atlanta?
And, yeah. I'm going to get you some tickets. I'm going to get y'all some tickets.
So we told our cousins we're going to.
We'll see y'all there.
Mm-hmm. And nothing.
Mm-mm. When it came time, I remember our mom taking us over there. We thinking we're going to pick up tickets. And I don't know what their conversation was. We were young, and back then, y'all, it's not like today. Kids, like she was saying, we weren't privy to grown folks' conversations. Mm-hmm. We knew when grown folks talking, you get yourself on somewhere. You know, so we all we know is that there were no tickets.
There were no tickets, and we didn't go.
So that was a broken promise. And I don't know, we talked about funny acting, like peculiar ways. Like, I mean, he had kind of a mean spirit.
And a prime example of that, I remember distinctly one day he came to my mom's apartment, and he was supposed to be bringing her some money to get something for us. Now, that was, I don't remember.
But whatever it was, I can remember he was coming on a Wednesday. That's when he was coming. Whatever we had been asking for, Mama kept saying, wait till Wednesday. Your daddy's coming. He's going to bring some money. Wait till Wednesday. Wait till Wednesday.
So when Wednesday came and we saw him pull up and he's coming, we got excited.
We were excited.
Because she had told us that he was coming on Wednesday. Wait until Wednesday and we would get whatever it was. I don't remember what. So he came.
And he left.
And he didn't give her the money. And you want to know why? He chose not to give her the money because she wouldn't have
smecks
with him. She wouldn't have adult relations with him. And so he left.
Yeah, they didn't have that kind of relationship. No. Now, my mama wasn't.
She didn't want him.
Our mom wasn't spinning the block with him.
She didn't want him.
So it wasn't that kind of relationship. And I distinctly remember this day because
I do too.
I happened to come down the stairs, and at the bottom of the stairs, they were standing, and he had his arms around her waist.
Pulling her into him.
And she was kind of pushing back, and it was uncomfortable for me to see because
we've never seen that type of
interaction with them. Period. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it looked, even as kids, we knew it was something that she really wasn't interested in.
So even though he was able to come to her apartment under the premises that he was bringing money to get us what we had asked for.
And he knew that we knew, he knew that the money was, of course, is for us. And he knew that there was something in particular we were asking for.
But he was the type of person who, if he was going to show her that if she didn't give him what he wanted, he wouldn't give her what she wanted for us. Well, it didn't hurt my mom.
Who did it hurt?
It didn't hurt him, apparently. It only hurt the children.
So we were big enough. We knew.
So I remember as he was leaving, I asked Mama, did he give you the money?
Okay, Mama, let's go.
And she said, no, he didn't give us the money. He didn't give me the money. So I ran out and caught him as he was going to the car. And I said, well, why didn't you give Mama the money for us? You have to talk to your mama about that. So he was... And he said that, got in his car, and he left.
So you don't show up about once or twice a year, and that's how you gonna act. I do have a good memory of him. I have one good memory. I can remember having been hospitalized for asthma, and I was probably about 8. And I do remember that he and his mom came to visit me. So, we're going to tell the good with the bad. There's one good, and so I just told it.
Moving right along. So now that's when Rhonda and I got us a job at 13, and there were several people that asked in the other video, how did we get a job that paid us so young? So a small recap, there was a program in the county that we lived in, and it was called the Job Training Participant Act, and it was for low-income families that had children. And if you were 13 to 15, you know, the ages where you're too young to get a job,
a work
permit, this program would allow you to work a summer 2-month summer program, and that, would help bring money into your household. So that's how we started working at 13.
I don't think we participated in it other than that summer, but y'all, we never stopped working.
We never stopped working
because what we did was
we lied.
We lied. When we were 14.
We lied and said we were old enough.
You had to be 15 to get a work permit.
What we would do is wait until school was out, where you could not get a work permit from school. And we did this until we were actually old enough to get the permit at 15, 16.
And then we were working after school. I mean, we just kept working.
And we just kept working from there.
Working, so
we started working at 13, started taking care of ourselves, doing things, had to pay bills.
Light bills.
Like grown women stuff. Responsibilities. Now we come to 16. Of course, what does every 16-year-old want? A car.
A car.
So we worked, saved money, bought us a car. So we're riding along. In the beginning, we had one car.
She drove first. She had a car first.
We're riding along, and we're on the highway. And we get off the highway of the exit that we're getting off on. We look to the side of the road and we see a stalled car. And we look and we said, that looks like our dad. Now, we hadn't seen him or talked to him probably since he left our mom's house around 12 years old. And sure enough, we got close enough, it was him.
Now, our dad was a shade tree mechanic.
But he could build a car with parts.
He was always shade tree because he was of the mindset that he was not going to work for the white man.
And he was not going to pay taxes and none of that stuff. So we see him. So we had this bright idea, let's turn around and go back and talk to him.
Because we're young, now we're 16, but still we kind of have in our head, like, that's our daddy. Like,
you still have that daddy's girl mentality. You still, maybe he wasn't ready then, but maybe he's ready now. So turn the car around. We go, park the car.
Now it's just Shonda and I in the car.
We get out and he has the hood of a car up and he's working on this car. Now he was there by himself. We approach him and
hey daddy.
Hey daddy. And he kind of looks up at us. Hey. Looks down. He doesn't really make much eye contact.
Didn't really acknowledge us.
Didn't really acknowledge our presence there, even though he hadn't seen us for years or anything like that. And so we're trying to initiate this conversation. He's giving us short answer, direct answers to the questions that we're asking. So, we at this time, we feel something. We don't know what it is.
I can remember feeling it felt like my stomach dropped. That's the only way I know how to describe it. But his initial reaction, his initial greeting, hello, hey. And he put his head back down, went back to doing what he was doing. And I can just remember my stomach dropping.
So at this time now, I will say that I have always been very boisterous and very strong-willed and bullheaded at times and so forth and so on. I am considered the strongest one out of us two.
An extrovert.
Now, Rhonda is strong. Now, I'm an extrovert. She's been more of an introvert. And I can feel what's going on. And I have always been more, I guess, protective over her because it's hard to hurt my feelings. They don't get hurt, So I can tell that there's a shift in her and I can tell that something is going on. So I abruptly and quickly just end it. And we leave. We get in the car. I don't even remember us saying bye or anything like that. I just remember us saying, come on, Rhonda, let's go. We get in the car and we drive off. And as we drive off, we're both quiet for an extended period of time.
I remember that. The car ride was just
so quiet.
Like shock.
But when I did look over at her and said, and I don't remember what I said, but I said something to her, she started crying. And that made me furious. I didn't have the same reaction because I'm built a little bit differently. It really upset me that she was so upset, but I think it was at that point that there was a level of acceptance that she was able to just get past and accept it for what it was. It was never going to change. You'll never be this daddy's little girl. That'll never be the situation or relationship or anything like that. I think I'm not happy that that happened, but I'm happy that it happened because I did want her to get to that level of acceptance. And I think that day and that experience, it happened.
I feel like this is a prime example of why you will see some people and they are such high achievers. Y'all, listen, don't be so quick to judge folks. Ooh, she bougie. Ooh, she that. Ooh, he this. He thinks he this. He's so this. He's arrogant.
You don't know what the motivating force is behind it. Now, you could go one of two ways. All of us are dealt some kind of something in your life that's not favorable. But you have to learn how to overcome. We have always chose and opted to have God as the head of our life in whatever situation we're going through. And it doesn't matter who the person is, if it's a stranger or if it's a parent, we know from whence our help cometh from.
Some people are just, I was saying, just don't be so quick to judge. They are high achievers, motivated, ambitious for a reason.
It could be from rejection.
Rejection, and then they definitely don't know. They definitely do not want to go back where they came from. If you've ever, luckily, thank God for us, we've never grown up hungry, being hungry, not having enough food. We always had plenty of food.
Never been homeless.
Never been homeless, none. But if you have grown up that way, you will work 20 shifts, 20 hours a day is what I meant to say, just to make sure that you never have to be hungry again. So for a lot of people, I think that has been like a coping mechanism. They become high achievers in a lot of instances. And of course, we all know and have probably family members or know someone that sometimes it's the direct opposite.
It is the opposite.
And we really don't need to judge them either.
No, because mental illness is real. And a lot of problems that adults have is caused somewhere in their childhood. You never know.
Some of it's caused by grown folks' mess.
Grown people will mess up children every day of the year.
Definitely can. And they may not have a twin sister
or a baby sister
to pull them out of that because she was the one that was stronger. I took things more to heart. My feelings would get hurt easier. You know, but if they may not have had a sister, a twin sister to pull them out of there and say, no, come on here. We're not going to get stuck right here. We're going to keep this pushing.
And I thank God that I have always been strong-willed and bullheaded and so forth and so on my whole life. If you tell me no, I will do whatever necessary to prove to you that yes is an answer. I'm glad that we actually had that experience. I think that
was an eye-opener for me.
The eye-opener, and it was a breakthrough for Rhonda.
Once we had that car ride, that silent car ride, and we talked and all of that, y'all, when I tell you I was done.
Now, did I have choice words? Yes, I did. And can I share them with you on this video? No, I can't, because they probably shut us down. There's no room for wallowing and self-pity and all of that. We had so much to be thankful for, because if you think about it, we were the ones riding in a car that we bought, and our car was operating. His was on the side of the road.
So, of course, you know, as young ladies who were just kind of baffled by the whole experience, at least I was, because remember now, we weren't privy to any of their adult conversations coming up over the years. We were just kids, y'all. We were just kids. when we get home, we tell our mom what had happened. And she gives us a little bit of an insight that we definitely never thought about. It just, what she told us was, y'all are bigger now. She said he probably thought that y'all were going to ask him for something, ask for some money. Mm-hmm. And so before you can even get up there and open your mouth good to say hello, he's already shutting you down.
And we hadn't thought about it that way, but I do agree, even still to this day.
When we think about it.
I think that's what it was. He didn't want us to ask him for anything.
We weren't. We truly were just kids, just young ladies. Hadn't seen our dad. We still looking for a relationship with our daddy. We just... we were working. We weren't going to ask for anything.
But it is because of our upbringing in the church and our love for God. This happened when we were about 16. So we get up to 18.
Well, let me, we're still at 16. So we kind of referenced earlier that they were a peculiar kind of people.
All of them.
Not all of them. There was three aunts that were friendlier. One of them we absolutely adored and loved because she always adored and loved us.
The only one.
We referenced how funny acting they were, and they were, not all of them, but majority of them were like mean-spirited, and this was just baffling. We were just little kids. But when I was 16, I knew that his sister lived really, really close to us. And our mom had her phone number. So I called her on the phone. I'm 16. The phone rings and a man answers. And he says, hello. I say, may I speak to such and such? He says, hold on. He left. He came back. She said, who is it? I'm all excited. I said, tell her this is her niece, Rhonda, one of the twins. He put the phone down. He came back to the phone and she said she can't talk right now.
Now,
this is
when was the last time you had spoken with her?
I hadn't spoken to this woman
since early childhood.
Yeah, like young, they're she definitely wasn't an auntie like the auntie I am, or the auntie Shonda is to my kids, or our baby sister is to our kids. It wasn't that type of thing. But here again, I'm 16. I don't even really know what the issue. I hadn't figured out that these folks was kind of crazy.
So where do you think? What do you think your purpose of calling her that day was for?
Still searching and looking for some
acknowledgement.
Not acknowledgement, but
a relationship.
Yeah, like I didn't understand why we didn't have a I just didn't understand that.
Rhonda was one that would always wonder about those things, whereas I didn't care. Mm-mm. I have never cared.
It was just so drastically different than what we got on our mom's side. Like our aunt, the voice of reason. If you saw our other video, our mom's sister has been our voice of reason. She has always been there for us. She's always supported us. All of that. That's
in many ways. Anyway, any way she possibly could.
So that is the model that I was going from. I just didn't understand why it wasn't that way with these folks over here.
And it just goes to show you that you can be brought up in one type of family and it be different on the other side.
It was.
So we're past 16 now. We've made it through 16. We have a car. Of course, we've been working for years. We're in school. We're doing great. And we're up to graduating. And because we were raised in the church and because of our love of God, and we genuinely have good hearts, came time for our high school graduation. So we invited our dad to our high school graduation. Mm-hmm. And he came. And I was shocked. Now, he came and he sat with our family, my mom, grandmother, so forth and so on. And he was there and he smiled, and I don't remember the words that were shared, but I do remember that he didn't bring any kind of gift or a card or maybe a flower or anything. He didn't bring anything but himself, but that's okay because we're used to that. We're used to that. So we move on, we go to school, and during the time that we graduated, went to nursing school and so forth and so on, higher education. He never offered to help with any type of finances for any of that, none of that type of stuff. So we just move right along. We are used to it by now. Remember, we might not have had a daddy, but we've always had a father.
Like we said before,
we didn't cancel him. He canceled us. And we accepted.
We are
thankful and grateful that he could be able to choose himself. I think it kept us from a lot of heartbreak, a lot of loss that we could have felt, and so forth and so on. Things that we just did not need in our life. So I'm thankful and grateful that he chose himself. And I don't feel in any way that it has hindered anything in my life.
Y'all, be grateful for the thing
that pass you by. What you're fighting for
is not meant for you.
It's not good
ordered
for
steps. It's not good for you. And it will ultimately probably not work out in your
best
favor.
interest. So. That's right. I think with us growing up the way that we did, we learned a lot of life lessons at a young age, and we were able to just move on. We've both been successful in our own right, whatever success means to you. But we have healthy families, we have healthy marriages,
we have healthy kids. None of our kids have ever been in the hospital much.
They're mentally healthy. And
so
I think
that's success, y'all. That's what we consider success
to us. You know, sometimes people will talk about girls that don't grow up in the household with a dad there, that they have daddy issues. I think because we always felt that we were happy and grateful and glad for what passed us by, we didn't hold any resentment, hold any anger, any malice, any vengeance, any of that. We just let it be what it was meant to be.
I'll speak for me, maybe Shonda feels this way, but y'all, how many of y'all know you can't miss what you never had?
And then
you don't miss what you never had. That's what it was.
How many people live in the household with a mom and dad present, and one of them is the one that's the most chaotic and cause the most pain in the family and all of that, and these kids grow up actually watching all of that.
And people like to say, oh, stay together for the kids. Y'all have kids. We never really subscribed to that ideation of parents staying together just for the kids.
Doing more damage to them by staying together and them hearing you fuss, hearing and seeing you fight, and just so...
Who wants to be in that chaos? Nobody. Kids, I think you do more damage when you're there fussing,
when
fighting.
You stay just for the kids.
Like a lot of parents are literally fighting each other. Like, what child wants to be a part of that?
The kids are calling 911, and
it's that is just
so
awful.
Traumatizing for kids. So we've moved on now. We're in our early 20s, and I'm getting married for the first time. So again, there's been a pattern that we've tried to show you, where we have always tried to extend that grace to him, not the other way around. So anyway, early 20s, I'm getting married for the first time. Most girls have their dad walk them down the aisle. So my mom said, well, it's up to you. Because remember, she never talked bad or anything. She just let us see for ourselves.
She let us make our own determinations, and she let us make our own decisions.
I was able to find him, reach out to him through our aunt, his sister, who my mom always stayed in contact with, but
the one aunt that
the
we
one
adored so
aunt
much.
out of all of them, but able to reach out to him, tell him about the wedding. He seemed to be excited.
Shine, they like to come
They
around
like that
for the shine. That's what I say.
So that'd be nice.
Okay.
So that didn't work out either. And the reason why it didn't work out, I called him just as I did with every other male that was in the wedding. And I said, this is the place that you go to get fitted for your tux, fitted for your shoes, everything you'll need in order to participate in my wedding. He said, okay. Do they know that I'm coming? In my young mind, yes, they know that you're coming. They know what your role is in the wedding. Just give them your name. They know that you're coming. He asked me again, do they know that I'm coming? Yes. So he goes there and he's fitted and everything. And of course, there's always a fee to rent a tux. Now, the other groomsmen and people, males, that everybody that was in the wedding, bridesmaids, whoever, they were paying for their own clothing. So yeah. How about he didn't participate in the wedding because he didn't want to pay to rent the tux?
Not he didn't want to pay. He didn't pay. Okay, now you hadn't really done much all of our lives. Now we've made it to 20, 21.
We made it, we early 20s now. Yeah.
You can't pay for your tux? You haven't done anything else? Ever.
And I think I was extending all of that mercy, the same mercy and grace that God extends upon me every day. I was extending to him, even though he had never been there. And he chose not to pay for the tux rental.
And this is the way that I looked at it. I can remember all of this. This is the way that I looked at it. If there was ever a time for you to show up
and shine,
or just show up for your girls, not even to shine.
He would have been shining in my eyes.
Yeah. But if there was ever a time for you to show up and shine, this was the time. You couldn't even do that. If it had been where Shonda was in a situation where she was going to pay for everybody's everything for the wedding, I would have told her, now don't pay for his, because let's see what he's going to do.
But that didn't happen. And I think all the other times that olive branches were extended to him from us,
not only
here was another chance, another time, because remember, once Rhonda got over her moment with him at 16, we didn't hold any malice, vengeance, anger, or anything. I looked at it as sometimes, all time, you got to be happy about what passes you by. But he chose not to pay for the tux rental. He chose not to walk me down the aisle. I wasn't even at this point disappointed. Because again, remember, these olive branches all these years at different times in our lives, they were always extended from us to him, never vice versa. So it didn't bother me. I called one of my favorite cousins who gladly and happily,
he showed out with his tall, handsome self. Oh my God.
He was so happy on that same day. Fitted for his tux, and he looked great in it. Yeah, and down the aisle we went.
He is a hat wearing guy. He's tall, slim, good looking, and he can wear a hat, y'all. And so he didn't wear the hat, of course, during the ceremony, but for the reception, he came in his hat. Oh my gosh. And y'all, what I remember is, now I was her best girl, of course. So I'm already standing down there in the church waiting on her to come up the aisle. When he came in with her, what I distinctly remember saying to myself is, oh, he is so gentle with her. He just she had his arm and he would take a step and they would take a step and he would look at her and he was just right there.
He was just so happy to be there.
Yeah.
To be in this role that I gave him, it didn't bother him. I don't even know if he knew. I'm not even sure if I shared it with him that I had asked, that wanted my dad first.
And Daddy flaked out.
And Daddy, none of that.
It didn't
even matter to him. And down the aisle we strolled, and it was
beautiful.
A great day. And we just moved on.
And old Daddy, not only did he not show up, you remember I told y'all they're peculiar, kind of funny acting folks. He didn't even come to the wedding. Some kind of way he ended up being mad.
He was upset with me, I guess, for not paying for the tux rental or anything like that. And I never looked back.
So the wedding, early 20s, and so now we have moved on.
We've moved on, and we've married. We have children. Life goes on. So now, guess what? Rhonda has this bright idea that even though there were missed opportunities for us to bond with our dad, that maybe he was at a point, because now we've had children and he is a grandfather.
We had God in our lives, and that has always allowed us to not become hard-hearted.
So she had a great idea. Maybe he just wasn't in the space, being so young at 20, early 20s, having children and so forth and so on. Maybe he's in a space now.
Now he's getting a little older. He has grandkids.
Yeah, to form that kind of relationship with the grandchildren. And we would welcome that if that was the case. So Rhonda has now taken over and is in the same position as my mom was. My mom was, quote unquote, running us over to see him. Now Rhonda is packing the kids up in the car. My children, my baby sister's children, her children.
Yeah, this is what I would do.
Taking them to this mechanic shop that my dad worked at.
Yeah, this is what I would do. I would gather up Shonda's oldest daughter, my oldest, my baby sister's oldest. These three little ones, I'll put them in the car, and we're going to see Granddaddy. And like we mentioned before, he has never, ever, ever been all that far from us. 15, 20 minutes.
He still, to this day, currently lives about 20 minutes away from us.
It's crazy. But so I gathered the kiddies up, and all of the little kids back then, they were so cute. They were probably about, I remember my nephew was about 7 or 8. He is now in his 30s. And do y'all know he still talks about the fact that, or he used to, that even when he was in his 20s, Granddaddy used to always tell him, I'm going to take you fishing, and he never took it. Kids don't forget broken promises. So
tell them, so she put them in, how they even got to
I'm getting ahead of myself.
She's getting ahead of herself.
I gather them up, and I take them down to him. And they visit, and he plays with them, and he talks, and
seem to be happy.
Yeah, thought it was a good thing. But after a while, as it goes on and on and on and on, I started to get this little feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Because let me clear this up. She was taking them to see him. He seemed to be excited to see them, but in between those visits,
there was
he
no
never
follow
called.
through.
He never any of those things. So it was, she takes him to see him. No conversation, no talk, no nothing.
For some months.
She takes him back to see him. No conversation, no follow-up. Another few months. And the reason why she kept taking the kids is because the kids seemed to enjoy it.
And he enjoyed them when we would go. He would play and cut up with them. But I started to get this little feeling in the pit of my stomach. Okay, here we go again. And I knew where this was going to ultimately end up at, and I didn't want it for the kids.
kids.
And where it was going to end up at is, it's going to be just like it was for us. There was no effort put in on his part to ever call us. I don't have not one memory of my daddy ever calling me on the phone, just, and talking to me.
Or even just calling to say hi to grandchildren. Because remember, we're past it for us. So now we're trying to see if he could possibly form a relationship with the grandkids. But again, he never called to ask to speak to them, talk to them. Can I come and see them or anything? So
yeah, and he had done the exact same thing.
The same thing that he did to us is what he was doing to them.
So the longer it went on, kind of the madder I got about it.
And
like
it was
on
at
the inside,
that point when of course, me being the protector twin, I told Rhonda, stop running those kids down there to see him.
You see how life can come full circle.
Life can come full circle.
And once I did that, once I stopped going, there was never a bad word. I never expressed any of these concerns to him or anything like that.
And he never called to see why they stopped coming or anything. So it was the same thing. Same thing. I do remember my mom and my aunt, his sister, was driving in a car one day, and so my aunt always would ask my mom, do you mind if I stop by, if she wanted to tell him something, talk to him or whatever. There was a little shop that he worked at, Shade Tree Mechanic Shop. And so my mom said, yeah, sure. So she stopped, and
well, let me tell him. Our mama told her, listen, so-and-so, you don't have to not stop and see your brother just because I'm in the car with you. It's fine. Go, I don't care.
So they stopped and they talked, and as they were getting ready to leave, he said, oh, wait a minute. He went to the back of the shop, and he did pull out some sort of toy that was boxed up, a toy. One toy. And he was sending that to my mom, I guess, for the grandkids. But there were several children that went to see him, but one toy that he was sending, and that one toy was kind of like for a girl, but there, we had a boy in the family too. But anyway, so he did.
I see that as an effort.
I guess, an effort, but he still never asked, are the girls gonna bring the children down to see me? And none of that. He's never asked any of that. And of course, all of our kids now are grown. At times, they do ask or say, well, Mom, do you ever hear anything from your granddaddy? They've asked me, my children have asked me at different times sporadically throughout the years. And I say, no. And they said, well, is he still living? As far as I know, he is. He's still living.
Friends of the twins, we are going to make a little bit of a disclaimer. And it comes from two 54-year-old, fully grown women. It has come with age. We have always been, I would say, good people, kind-hearted, would go out of our way. We were always kind of like all through our healthcare careers and just in general. Sometimes we would even, anticipate the needs of others and try our
best.
Just trying to do. But when I tell you we don't do that anymore, it's almost like this. It's almost like you have someone that every year you call them on their birthday. And you say, happy birthday. The next year come around, happy birthday, happy birthday. And then it dawns on you that they never, ever call you on your birthday. So it's kind of like that for us. We don't
fight for relationships
anymore. We want to be involved in relationships that are genuine and are more than just one-sided. Mm-hmm. So when we do that, when we say that, we don't say that to be ugly. It's not done out of anger. There's no ill will. It all goes back to something that we mentioned in the video earlier. Rhonda and Shonda, Shinky and Rinky, twinsational. Twinsational loves whoever loves us. That's it.
Yeah.
at the big age that we are now, we're not
I'm not
fussing,
chasing.
chasing
Yeah.
nobody. So
Now we have open hearts, and we do love who loves us.
We
But
just
do
love who
we-
loves us. If
do
you
we-
call me, I'm gonna call you. If you reach out to me, I'm gonna reach out to you. I'll reach out to you, and hopefully you'll reach. It doesn't always have to be you initiating, but what we're saying is all of the effort is not going to be on us anymore, and it's just because I feel like the big age that we are, we just want to live peaceful and just love on whoever loves on us.
And that's how we live our daily lives now. We
So
love who
peaceful.
love us.
We just love whoever loves us.
And speaking of love, yesterday I was out in the community, and I ran into, or she approached me rather, the beautiful Bernetta. Thank you, Bernetta, for approaching me in the place that you and I know where we were. She came up to me. She had another beautiful lady that was with her. She was so excited to meet me, and I was so excited to meet her. Thank you for being such a supporter of ours on our channel. We really appreciate it, and it was all love yesterday. And that's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Throughout the tenure of our channel, we have felt love from so many people from all around the world. Strangers. But you can just feel the love, genuine
it's
love
genuine.
from people. And you can be loved by people who you are not born into the same family with. And you can be hated the most by people that you are born into the same family with. And so thank you again, Bernetta. It was so nice meeting you. I'm so happy that you approached me, and just a beautiful spirit. Her smile, her face, the warmth that came from her was just what I needed yesterday. So thank you again.
There are a couple of exceptions. I do want to make this clear. We do have elders in our family, people that have been around us all of our lives, that have always shown us love. The elders in our family now, y'all, we'll walk through the fire for them. They don't have to call me. I'm going to always call them.
We acknowledge their birthdays. We send out birthday money. I don't care if they don't ever call, because
they don't have to call.
They've done their due diligence to us our whole life, and we will never forget it.
I have a very special cousin. She's a second cousin. She's actually the elder in our family now. I walk through the fire for her because I remember her walking through the fire for me. I can remember being in my freshman year of college and not really having
a car
at the time, because Shonda had a car first. I didn't have a car then. How about she would let me take her to work, and then I could take her car and I could drive to school. And then,
for the most part, we always tried to share any vehicle that we had. But sometimes it just wasn't, our schedules didn't come, they just wouldn't mesh. And I would have to go in one direction, and she would be going into another direction. So it was this cousin who didn't hesitate. It wasn't, you could tell it wasn't a forced effort or anything. She would always say, "Oh, just drop me off at work and you just take my car and then just come back and get me." So if you now have a relationship, a strained relationship with a parent, a sibling, cousin, extended family, anything, you just have to pray about it. And sometimes just let God handle it. And whatever the outcome is, just accept that outcome. Continue to be a great person. Try to do good for others. And just
don't let
keep
them
it pushing.
Change you. Don't let anyone change you and keep you from being who you are. But if you have any kind of relationship, y'all, that you are having to fight pull, push. You always making all of the concessions,
and you know that you're doing that, but you just don't want to let
that
go.
back. If you're not getting that back,
but you don't want to let go of it. It's straining you, and you just for some reason have not let it go.
Straining.
Just let it go,
y'all. Just let it go.
Just let it go.
Just let it go, and you will probably have more peace, because when you've done all that you can do and you've done your very best, what is there for you to feel bad about? Nothing. There's nothing for you to feel bad about when you've done the best that you could do in the best way that you know how, and you still didn't get much of a result. Just let it go.
Let it go. And speaking about a dad who wasn't present, that's all the more reason why I want you all to be careful and be choicey about who you have children with. That's a whole other conversation, y'all. And we're going to get into it at another time.
Here. Yeah, I will tell y'all this, though. Because, as a woman, we know.
See the red flags.
You see the red flags. The red flag may manifest in the pit of your stomach. Something doesn't feel right. It may manifest as a second thought. But and
or you've actually seen something and said, "Oh, wow."
And we're not going to get too deep into this, but I do want to tell y'all this. Whether you be a man or a woman, one of our auntie's babies, whether you are our nephew or our niece, never feel like he'll treat her or him this way, but he's not going to treat me that way.
And never feel like,
because he'll
treat his kids this way. But
he
not won't
treat
your kids this way, because y'all are together.
And for me, we're not going to get too deep into this, and I can feel this thing in heat. So we're going to cut this off. But for me, y'all, I do not want a man who has not taken care of and honored his kids.
Own children.
If he has kids with someone else and he has not honored and acknowledged and taken care of those kids, I don't want him. I don't. I would not want a man who does not take care of his kids.
And I wouldn't want a woman, if I were a man, I wouldn't want a woman who is quick to just get rid of her kids from me.
All right, we're getting off topic, y'all. It is so easy for Twin Station, y'all. We just have things
so
to talk
much
about.
To talk about, y'all.
Real life stuff that real life folks go through.
But anyway, so we got the grandkids are all raised and grown. They're doing great. They ask every now and then, every 5 years or 10 years, whatever, if we've had any contact or anything like that, if we know anything.
They don't know him.
No, they don't know him.
If he were to walk up in front of them, they don't even really have a memory of what he looks like.
And sad thing, he doesn't know them either if he were to see them. And they, there is a high probability that they've been out and they've seen him or he's seen them, but they just don't know each other. But anyway, they're grown, they're happy, they're healthy. And so we're going to go to 3 years ago. Now, 3 years ago, I'll let Rhonda tell you what happened.
So 3 years ago, I get a phone call. And it's our mom. And she tells me, I just talked to your auntie. This is our favorite auntie from that side. Really the only one we had any kind of relationship. Our adorable, sweet, cute little auntie had called mama. Because a lot of times she was like the go-between, if you ask me. She called mama to tell mama to ask us that he said. And let's preface it before we tell it. How long has it been since we talked to him?
Decades?
I can't even remember.
I know it's been decades for me. I don't remember.
We can't even remember. How about he called, he sent a message to ask us, can we...
He told his sister
to
call our mom and for our mom to ask us,
can we pay his rent? This was 3 years ago. When she said it, I held the phone. I didn't get mad. I wasn't sad. No anger, nothing. Y'all, really, I thought it was kind of funny.
Comical.
It was comical. And I can remember kind of making a joke with her about it. She called his name. Our mom said his name. And I said, who? I said, who is that? And we kind of laughed about it. I just fell out laughing about it because...
Now, there were two parts, two things about the whole conversation that was just completely hysterical to me. Now, I laughed until I had tears. I'm going to be honest with you. There were two things that were just so funny to me. The first thing is that you are calling and asking two women that you have never been a part of their life. You never made sure not $1 of any rent has ever been paid for anywhere I've ever lived. You've never made sure that I had groceries, lights, if I was whatever. So that was funny to me that you would just pick up and say,
good, bad, indifferent.
These are I'm gonna call and ask them.
I hate to cut you off because y'all, Shonda's going through menopause, and if I don't let her complete her sentence, that's why I don't interrupt her a whole lot.
Well, the truth in the matter is she has to cut me off because she's going through menopause and she'll forget.
Raise your hand if you have menopause brain or you know what menopause brain is. For me, menopause brain is I have a thought in my head, but sometimes I can't articulate it. I know the word in my head, but I can't bring it out of my mouth.
That ain't menopause. That's dementia. That's what she going through dementia. I'm still fly, and I'm just going through normal,
But I do want to interject this point, y'all. It has always been so incredibly baffling to me how a parent can walk away from a child, whether it be a mother or a father, because there are some mothers that walk away. There are mothers that leave their kids with the dad, and it's a good thing because he is the better parent. So it's baffling how a mother or a father can walk away from their kids, a child or their kids, not see them for months on end,
years on end,
and you kind of that. I feel like they figure, well, they're good. The kids are good. I left them with their mother. I left them with their father. But how do you know they're good? You haven't looked back to check.
You haven't asked anybody.
You haven't asked.
Sent a smoke signal, a letter.
You didn't double back. You didn't do nothing. And the other thing that gets me is how can a mother or a father that has walked away from their children, how can you sit down and eat every night and you don't know for sure that your child has had something to eat? That's just how I look at it. How can you just go about living life assuming that the other parent is handling it? You don't know because you never look back. How can you do that? How can you sit down and eat and you don't know if your kids have had anything?
Yeah, they don't care. That's just the bottom line. But it's just so weird how he never put anything into us. But he was calling 3 years ago when we were 51 to ask us, could we pay his rent for that month? So there were, as I said, there were two things that were funny. It was comical to me that he would ask. And number two, it was what made it even more comical is that I found it funny that my mom would even tell us, because remember, our mom always wanted us to pay everything for her. So I was shocked.
Well, what she did was...
It was hilarious that she would even mention that, because it would be taken away from her own pot.
Hilarious that she would even be the dog toting the bone, because... And the conversation with her is she was already putting some stank on it. She did not want. She was fine with delivering the message, but she added in extra that let me know that, oh no, you're not doing or helping. He never, comment was, he never done nothing for y'all. Y'all, can you believe he called and said she gonna make sure?
But she didn't want us to give him anything, but she
That's
also
just-
didn't want to be taken away from her own.
Yeah,
So
just
if
taken away
if we
from
had
her.
to give out some money,
It's
it
gonna be
don't
to
need
her.
to be to him. It needs to be to her.
Who's never done anything for you, and we did not.
And we did not.
We
We
did
did not
not.
acknowledge the conversation. There was no response given. We did the same thing he did to us as children growing up. Okay, I'm coming, or okay, I'll do. And we just didn't say anything.
Just wait on it.
Just keep waiting on it.
All right, friends of the twins, we're going to get ready to wrap today's video up. We appreciate all of the time, the love and support that you all give to us, and for hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday.
The purpose of the video was to help somebody.
To let you know that you are not the only one.
You are not alone.
Don't even come with the Bible principles. Don't just go on with all of that.
Because you
Just
can't
go on.
honor anybody who don't
never-
even acknowledge you.
They
You know,
don't-
if I wanted to honor my dad right now, I don't even know which way to go look
You
to
don't.
throw that honor at him.
We're saying that he's about 15 or 20 minutes
but
away.
really, we don't know.
We really don't know.
We really
That's
don't
just
know.
where he used to be.
We
you
have
know,
no
from
idea.
what we used to know.
And
We
you
have
know,
no idea.
Thinking about it, our mom, of course, is older and she's going through health problems. At some point, he might or might not go through those. We don't know. We have no idea what plans are in place for him, if he has any or anything. I have no idea.
You talk about low effort. There was not even low effort. There was virtually no effort. Like we didn't see him much. He never did anything for us. And as we got older, you know, he really started to push us away then. Our mom felt like it was because he was scared we were going to ask him for something.
But he didn't have to worry about me asking.
It's all good over here.
It's all good.
As always, friends of the twins,
Make the life that you live a life that you love. Life is short.
If your daddy don't want to fool with you, don't fool with him.
Peace
It's all
out.
right. Peace out.